This is On Board Games number 6.
6. I think it's 6.
Numero
6.
6. I have to go through the whole thing to count them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm Barry Reynolds.
And I'm Jennifer Reynolds.
And this is the version of Jennifer Reynolds you're going to see. Disney's going to sue me one day with this. So, what is On Board Games, Jennifer?
It's where we discuss terminology about board games.
Uh-huh.
And we digress a lot.
We do.
Or do you edit all that out?
Depends.
Okay. I'm digressing.
And then we discuss a topic about something in the hobby. Okay, Jennifer, so what is today's terminology?
Today's terminology would be deck building versus card drafting. Alright.
Okay, so apparently Jen has a little bit of confusion about what the two are.
Yes.
Okay, so card drafting is when one player will select one card from a number of cards that they have at the beginning of a round or a game. Then they will pass it to the player to their side. That player will select one card, keep it, pass it to the player next to them. And it'll continue until a certain number of cards are, kept for each player or whatever. Now, there's a few games that use this mechanic. Seven Wonders is one of them.
What about Imperial Settlers? That has a little bit of that.
Yes, both 51st State and Imperial Settlers do. It's not what people normally think of card drafting. In the lookout phase, you would, set out a number of cards, and then each player would select one, and then you would discard them, draw out new cards, and, another player would select one, so card. A more recent game I played with it in is Subdivision, where it wasn't cards, it was actually tiles. Each player would select one tile, pass tiles to the player to their left, and then that it would continue until you were down to one tile, and then that tile got discarded. It's not a widely used mechanism in it. I think Seven Wonders is the most well-known game for using that mechanism. But, it kind of keeps the game interesting. You gotta, figure out what you need, how to screw over the next person maybe, getting what they need, or sometimes you just can't help it. You just gotta take a bad card or tile, and what are you doing?
Nothing. Keep talking.
And, like I said, it's not a widely used mechanism. I don't think Seven Wonders was the first game that used this, but it's one of the more popular ones. And then we have deck building. Now, deck building...
Dominion
is the one that made it popular, yes. In deck building, they're usually engine building games where you're buying certain cards to build up your deck, and then each turn you have, you're going to draw a certain number of these cards to play, to buy more cards or resources or whatever the case may be. Victory points, depends on the game itself. As Jen said, Dominion is the Dominion is the one that kind of set the trend for it. I don't know if it was the first one.
I think it might have been, or at least, the most popular for sure.
Yeah. Over the year, there was a big explosion of them after Dominion came out. We have 4, I think.
Really?
Yes. You never played one, but yes.
What is Sentinels of the Multiverse?
That's not exactly deck building.
But it's not card drafting either.
No. That's kind of its own separate thing.
Okay.
Sentinels in the Multiverse, you're using a deck of cards as your actions, but you're not really building the deck. It's already there. You just shuffled it.
Oh, okay. Right.
Arctic Scavengers, that's a deck builder.
Right, you're right.
I actually like that one better than Dominion.
Yeah.
For a basic deck builder. Yeah. We just played one yesterday or the day before. The Legendary Encounters, the Alien game.
Right.
The one about the movies. That's a deck builder where you're buying, in this case, you were buying characters in the movie to beat the aliens,
Right.
And that was building your deck.
Now, what is that game I'm trying to think of? It wasn't San whatever.
San Juan?
Yeah, is that where you're buying cards? No, that's a different
San Juan's more, it's like a roll selection type game.
Okay. We haven't played that in a while, so I wasn't, I remember there was cards that you got, but were they tiles or cards? I don't remember.
They were cards.
Okay.
That's more like a resource building gather, one other that I think I played it once, Race for the Galaxy. I don't think you have played that one. That one's got a lot of symbols in it, and we just
Jen gets confused.
No, I just haven't sat down to figure it out to show it to you.
Yeah.
I think I did play it once, but I don't remember. So in most deck builders, you're building your deck up. It's like an engine building. You're building your deck up to, in the beginning you just have these cards that are not really great, and you're going to use them to try and get more powerful cards to do whatever you have to do in the game. Like in the Legendary Encounters, to beat the aliens, you want to get the characters who are stronger or worth more buying power. In Dominion, you want to get more victory points, or you want to buy cards that'll combo bigger to get more victory points in the end, stuff like that. Now, there are games with deck building as a mechanism in the game, but they're not strictly deck builders. One was at BioShock Siege of Columbia.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
We do?
We've played it.
Oh. Oh. Well, see, you could have just said BioShock Infinite. Siege of Columbia. That's small print.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was a couple other. I'm trying to think what they are.
Now, Game of Thrones.
The card game?
Yes. Deck builder or card drafter? No?
It's neither.
Okay.
Neither.
So they have cards. See, there could be a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
For someone that doesn't know.
Card drafting is usually when, like in Seven Wonders, you start off with, I think it's 7 cards?
Yes.
Yeah, 7 cards.
The last one does get picked.
Yeah. In Seven Wonders, for example, with the card drafting, you start off with 7 cards. You'll select one of these cards to use, and then you'll pass the other 6 to the player next to you.
Right.
Okay, and they'll do the same thing. And in Seven Wonders, it's all at the same time. And then, you'll take 6 cards from the player to your right, and you'll do it again. You'll select one of these 6 cards and use it, and then pass the remaining 5 cards to the person to the left while taking the 5 cards from the player to your right. And it'll do that until, in Seven Wonders case, you're down to 1 or 2 cards rather, and then you would simply use one of these 2 cards and discard the last card. That's card drafting.
Right.
Okay. Like I said, deck building, you start off with a certain, usually it's like 10 or I'm trying to think what Legendary was. I think it was 13 cards. 7, 5, 1. Yeah, 13. Usually you start off with a number of low-powered cards, and then you're building them up, an engine building mechanism to try and buy more powerful cards to do whatever it may be in the game. Whether it's defeat aliens or buy victory points, or in Arctic Scavengers, you're trying to get tools and weapons, to do a skirmish at certain points in the game. Stuff like that. And than most deck builders, you have the option of trashing these lower end cards to try and get to the better cards in your discard pile, which eventually will shuffle up and it'll become your draw pile. Understand the difference now?
Yes.
Okay.
So, just so for everybody that doesn't know, not every card game is card drafting or deck building.
No, a lot of card games are neither.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah. So that's the terminology.
All right.
So, yeah, a lot of card games do not have deck building or card drafting in them. The cards in a lot of card games are used as
Barry's gonna smack me.
the engine of the game. And you say I make you look stupid on these
No,
videos.
I don't need any help.
Okay. So what is our discussion topic for today, Jennifer?
Microphones. And why I like to pretend that I'm a newscaster. No, I'm kidding. It's not microphones.
See, this is why I try not to put things.
I've been up since like 5 o'clock this morning.
So what is today's discussion topic, Jennifer?
I'm going to let you know, Barry, and you're going to be really excited about this. I forget.
We just talked about this 5 minutes ago.
I have a really short
Fruit fly.
Wait, give me a minute. Oh, games that we don't like as 2-player, but that we enjoy with 3 or more players.
Yes, we recently played a game, Belfort, which I think both of us enjoy as a 3 or more player game.
Yes.
And we recently tried it for the first time with 2 players, and Jen, not so much. She didn't like it so much.
No, I didn't like it as much. So
that's one game. What didn't you like about that?
I didn't like having to be a phantom player, and I don't know. I just didn't enjoy that part of it.
What do you mean? There's not much you had to do. You know.
I know, but I didn't like it.
Once around, you had to move 2 pawns from one space to another on the board, and then
yeah, I get it. I played it. I just didn't care for it as much.
Draw a card and
I'd rather play with 2 other real people.
Okay.
I don't know. It just didn't. It didn't seem to flow as well. I think. I don't know. I know you didn't have a problem with it. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, no, I really didn't have a problem with it. All right. What's another game?
Killer Bunnies.
Yes.
We played it 3 people, and
yes.
it was a lot of fun. But with 2 people, I liked it. Your sister probably didn't because she doesn't like the Screw the Next Guy games. But with 2 people, I didn't like it because you're only targeting the same person constantly. So I just didn't care for it with 2 players.
Yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily player thing or not with that game in particular.
For you.
Well, I thought the gameplay of it was interesting. I just thought it drug out too long for what it was, and it didn't really matter in the end what you did. It came to chance on who won the game. You know, that kind of annoyed me. Not only in 2-player, but in 3-player. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I needed to get a drink. I was a little thirsty.
Yeah, so that one, the ganging up on people thing didn't really bother me.
No, I don't. But I don't have a problem with that either. That's one thing about games your sister doesn't like. But with 2 players, it was just you're constantly targeting the same person, so it did make it drag out.
The ganging up. Well, you know my theory on that. There's a difference between strategically screwing the next guy and then being a dick about it. You know, and
with that game, that was all you could do, from what I remember. We haven't played it since then.
Yeah, that game is kind of the point of it.
Yeah.
And like I said, the end game came out to chance on, whether you had a certain card in your hand at the end of the game.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't like the game no matter what the player count was.
So Barry, what's a game that you didn't like?
I'm trying to think. Well, you keep going. I know there's another one, Seven Wonders.
I like it when I'll play it with just the two of us, but sometimes it gets a little confusing with the little third Phantom player.
Yeah, and Seven Wonders with a 2-player. The first player, I guess, not that there really is a first, but one player not only worries about what they're doing in front of them, but they also have to draft a card for a dummy player.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I believe we played wrong, actually. We were just taking a card out of the hand. We weren't actually looking at the card and picking a card for that third player.
Yeah, we weren't playing it where, each of us was playing two separate nations or I forget what the game calls them. Civilizations. Yeah. We were just...
Yeah, we played that wrong.
Yeah.
Because we could have been taking advantage of their resources and everything, and we didn't do that. We just kind of piled up their cards.
Yeah, I actually thought we did in the beginning. We played it right. I don't remember. But yeah, in my opinion, with Seven Wonders in particular, you're only playing against the guy to the left and right anyway. So
yeah,
I've played it with 7 players, and it's all I'm worried about is the guy left and right of me. Yeah.
Would you play that with your boyfriends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we should try that one again. Playing the rules right, see if our mind changes, especially with some of the expansions.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, that one really didn't bother me either.
You're just happy to play games.
Yeah, most games, yes. I'm trying to think. Games that I did not like as 2-player. Eldritch Horror. Yeah, Eldritch Horror. I don't like that one particularly with 2 players. And I don't think I would like Arkham Horror with 2 players either. Because when we do play with Arkham Horror, which is rare, we're usually playing as 2 investigators each, and it's kind of tough to even, think you have a chance of winning the game in that circumstance. Same thing with Eldritch Horror. You need at least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it stinks because you think, like, okay, I'm going to be all right because I have these 2 players, and I can do this one first, and then this one, and then I'll be okay. But, oh no, I'm player 2 and player 4, so this one has to go first, and I can't just,
Yes. Yeah, so I know a lot of people have problems with games where when you're playing it as a 2-player variant, you have to use multiple characters and stuff like that. Keep track of that. In those 2 particular games, Eldritch and Arkham Horror, it can be a little tough because there's so many little rules to remember, and you got to keep track of all the stats and the weapons and all that stuff. But playing those games with just 1 character each as a 2-player game, I do not like either one of those.
Dixit is a horrible game for 2 players.
Dixit, I don't even think we ever played it with 2 players.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I don't think it is a 2-player game.
Well, now we have tried a couple games where it recommended 3 or more players.
Yeah.
But
just to get them to the table.
I don't think Dixit was one of them.
No, I was being silly when I said that.
Oh, King of Tokyo. I do not like King of Tokyo as a 2-player game at all. It's very bad. You're either going to win by killing off the other guy, or you're going to lose by being killed off by the other guy. Basically, in a 2-player game, there's no chance of winning by victory points and stuff like that. There's no chance of really building up any cards because you're constantly worrying about your health. Stuff like that. Yes, King of Tokyo, I think, is best with 4+ players. Yeah.
You had fun playing it with your niece and nephew.
Yeah.
But that was 3 of you, so.
Well, no, Amanda played with that one.
Oh, yes, Amanda did. I think her character just died, maybe.
You did too, I think.
Yeah.
1 or 2 games. Yeah. Yes. That's basically why I bought King of Tokyo. Was for I knew that you were coming down that short. But yeah, 2-player game. It's horrible. Mr. Jack is a horrible 2-player game.
It's only a 2-player game.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Mm-hmm.
Flashpoint. No, I'm kidding. See, you had to digress a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
But listen, don't take our opinion for it. Try out the games for yourself. See, you might like them. That's just our opinion. You know what people say about opinions.
Rise of Augustus. We just did the video on that. I don't think that... It's okay 2-player, but I don't know. I think with more players it's better.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun with more players.
One Night Ultimate Werewolf's a horrible 2-player game.
It really is.
I don't think we ever played it with 2 players, but I was just kidding there. Although I guess you could.
You're going to say I'm the werewolf anyway, so it doesn't really
Jen's
matter.
And
I'm just going to assume that you are.
Jen's always a werewolf.
Because you'll just go, oh!
Now, Werewolf Inquisition, I know we're getting off this subject here.
He's digressing. For a change, you're the digressor.
Werewolf Inquisition, we played with the minimum number 3, and that was actually better at that lower count than I thought. With One Night Ultimate Werewolf, it's, I think 4 or 5 is the sweet spot on that one. We try it with 3, or it might even been 4 was bad too. Again, these games are heavily affected by the group you're playing with too. But yeah, the One Night Ultimate Werewolf, I think it was 3 and 4 it was okay, not great, but I think the more people you have with that, the better it is. I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Love Letter.
So. Love Letter.
Love Letter. I was trying to think of the game.
Yeah, I guess that's not so good.
Love Letter.
You don't really like Love Letter.
I don't really like it in general now. I fell into the hype on that one, I think. Everybody says, yeah, it's a great game.
I like it.
To me, it's just a bloated version of Go Fish.
It's girly.
But especially with 2 players. With 2 players, it's really mechanical. It's, So yeah, Love Letter's one of them that I really don't like with 2 players at all. It seems just really mechanical. Not that I'm thrilled with the game in general. That it's just my personal opinion. But if I would play it, would be with 3 or 4 players. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. But again, don't take our opinion for it.
Yeah.
You try them out yourself. Maybe you'll love it.
These are just our opinions. Alright, so yeah, that's basically it. 2-player game, games that we did not feel worked very well with 2 players. Now I'm sure there's other ones out there. This is just what we played and what we can remember offhand. Again, you may find this different for you,
That's true.
Yeah, again, this is just our opinions. You know what they say about opinions?
They're like buttholes. Everybody has one and should keep it to themselves.
But we're interested in what you guys think. What are some games that can, hold more than 2 players, but don't work really well in 2 players in your experience? Leave us, your comments down below in the comment area there.
That's a good idea, because if you left them up top, we would never get them, because there's no comment section up there.
Yeah. And then in 2 weeks, when we do number 7 or 8, whatever, when we do the next one in 2 weeks, we'll, read them off. And then share our thoughts on your thoughts.
Thoughts on thoughts. All right.
You like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the new name of the new segment. Thoughts on thoughts.
Thoughts on thoughts. All right.
I think.
So, thanks for watching.
Get gaming and have fun.
We'll see you next time.